Welcome back to the channel. Today, this is an important one. This is Narcissism Essentials 10 Things You Must Know. So, I mentioned on a video recently that I was going to talk about the most important things I think there are to understand about narcissism. And I know that's saying a lot. There's many things, but today I'm going to go over 10 that I think, and in no particular order, of what you absolutely have to understand about these people. So, with no further ado, let's get into it because I'm going to have a lot to say. Number one, and please do not ever forget this one. This is crucial for those who have just come out of the relationship, those who look back on it, those who might even still be stuck in it and are worried about getting away from the narcissist because they might go and have a better life and have somebody in their lives better and get it right. And understand this. The narcissist lives to fool the world. I've done separate videos about this and all these topics, more or less. The narcissist's chief mission in life, I believe, to pull off what they need to pull off, is convincing everybody that there's something that they're not. And the biggest thing, the biggest way this manifests is, of course, when you first meet the narcissist in that love bombing stage and the way they pretend and fake you out of your boots. But primarily when you think to yourself that somehow that person's gone on to better, they're doing better now. I know how they were with me, but now I see them doing this, that, or the other thing in their lives. Now I see them with another person or in a better situation, and they look happy and they look like it's succeeding and they're thriving and da 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 da. Understand that is the plan. That's by design. When you were with them, other people thought they were thriving. Other people around you and from their past and from their friend, family, acquaintance circles thought the narcissist was doing well. Maybe this time they got it right. Maybe this time it's working. No, it wasn't. It wasn't working. But the narcissist was giving the appearance that it was working. These people live to fool the world. Everything you see is a fake, it's a sham. Don't believe for 1 second that that person you dealt with is now different, that they're now doing everything differently, that they've now seen the light and they've gotten it right. Don't buy it. That is the biggest lie they sell. The narcissist lives to fool the world. A second thing you need to understand, everything the narcissist does is from selfishness. They act at all times out of a construct of selfishness, of self. They are self-obsessed. They are self-absorbed. Some people will talk about this, and there's a degree of truth that narcissism is a survival tactic. It's a survival mechanism. People talk about this frequently. And yes, there's some truth to it, but it's deeper than that. If the person is doing all the things they're doing, all the corrupt things they're doing to survive, where does that come from? What kind of heart condition does that come from? It comes from the heart that is completely self-serving. It means their mentality, their approach to life is that they're going to take care of themselves first and foremost at every single instance, every turn, every angle is about me. I'm going to make sure I get what I think I should get. I'm going to take care of myself in this situation. I'm going to do what's right for me. That is the operating procedure of the narcissist. That's their mentality. So you're dealing with a person who at every single step and instance is going to be acting out of their own self-interest. That means they're with you if it's doing something for them. They'll leave you if something else seems to be doing something for them, or you stop doing something for them. Whenever there's not something in it for them, the narcissist is out. They're out. This involves their kids, their romantic interests and companions, their friends, their family. If there's not something in it for them at all times, and even when they do good things, it's faux good because they're doing it for the motivation of some self interest. Nothing is selfless with them. And I'll give you one example and I'll move on. If the narcissist out of nowhere suddenly wants to do some grand, great thing, whether that is dumping loads of sexual attention on you out of nowhere, or buying you some great thing, or offering you this vacation, or whatever out of nowhere, let me tell you why they did that. They did that because they did something behind your back. And they're grieving that in a sense, or they're feeling the shame from that. And to get rid of the shame, they're not going to apologize. They're not going to take accountability. They're not going to correct it. No, 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 no. To alleviate the shame from what they did behind your back, they're going to do something good for you. And in their warped mind, that balances everything out. Yeah, I might have slept with somebody behind his or her back, but then I did that with them, or then I bought them a gift, or then I took them on a trip. And to them, that balances it out. That negates the bad thing they did. But what is that? That's out of selfishness. That's a good thing they did for you to make themselves feel better, and that alone. That is the whole operating procedure, the modus operandi of the narcissist. They act at all times out of selfishness. Next, associated to this, they don't care deeply about anybody but themselves. They might care about their children at some level, but not if it's going to be at their own expense. They might care about their partners or their parents or other people in their lives so long as it's in their best interest to do so and it's not at their own expense. They're never deeply attached to anybody. They can leave anybody at any given time for any reason they deem fit. They can do it for any reason at any time. Understand that. They are not deeply connected to anybody. I heard from the horse's mouth, and this speaks for all of them. People are disposable. Brian, people are disposable. That's how the narcissist views everyone. Every person is a means to an end and can be disposed of like an old sock. They are not deeply, deeply bound to anybody. They don't truly love. They don't truly have empathy. They don't truly have connections with anyone. Ever. Ever. That would involve them to put in effort. That would involve them to change everything about who they really are. Everything's out of self interest, and therefore they don't truly deeply care or attach to anybody. And they don't detach in a healthy way from anybody. That's why they keep up on you for years or the rest of their lives. That's why they look for your demise. That's why they still try to keep in touch, because they can't bond, but they cannot unbond, if that makes sense. It's a Brundle fly from the movie Fly. It's a Brundle fly relationship. They're not in, they're not out, they're not with you, they're not without you. They're bonded, but they're not bonded. That's the narcissist. And they never truly deeply care about anybody but themselves. Along those lines, narcissists are terrible parents. The worst. I can guarantee you this. If you know someone and they're a good parent, a truly good parent who's there for their children, who sacrifices for them, it's not a narcissist. There are many ways I could tell you in a separate video how to tell if someone is not a narcissist. Well, if somebody's a good parent, they're not a narcissist. Can't be. Narcissists don't care enough about anybody to be good to anyone, including their kids. They will sacrifice everything and everybody for their own happiness or seeming happiness. Their kids are no different. They're not there for them when it counts. They're not there for them in the long run. They're not there to do the heavy lifting that a parent is required to do. They're not there to take them to their appointments or set aside money or not do what you want to do on a given day or make a major life move for your children. They're not going to do those things. Anything good they do for the children is after they've taken care of themselves first and foremost. They're terrible parents. Crummy. If you know a good parent, they're not a narcissist. Nothing will ever be enough for the narcissist. So important to understand. No matter how good you are, no matter what you represent, no matter what opportunity you provided for them, no matter how good looking or or sympathetic or kind or loving or caring or generous or how good your life is, how good your job is, how big your house is, how well your finances are in order, how spiritually driven you are, none of that matters because nothing will ever be good enough for them. I promise you they could sit back, if it were possible, and create exactly every single thing they want in a person. They could go down through the looks and the finances and the job and the situation in life and every single thing imaginable and tailor make that, create a being exactly to their specifications. And in a matter of weeks or months, that person would be no longer sufficient. They could have a self-serving robot who literally just did everything they want every day in all ways at all times, and that would not be good enough for them. So no matter what you bring to the table or don't bring to the table, understand you couldn't have done it differently. You couldn't have played your cards just the right way, moved just the right way. What if I hadn't said this or done this, or what if I was more perfect or had this more in order, or what about the person they're with now? It doesn't matter. Nothing will ever satisfy them. They will always need multiple sources of supply. They will always need all of this stuff, always, because nothing will ultimately work for them. Along those lines, understand that there will always be a backup. If possible, if at all possible, there will always be a backup for the narcissist. They have backups, as I heard, backups for backups. I've got backups and I've got backups for my backups. And they all do this. And in the day and age we live in, which I won't go into this in this video, the age of the smartphone, the godforsaken smartphone, internet, dating apps, social media, texting, these people can effortlessly lead and string along several people, talk to an ex, talk to somebody you don't know about, talk to people on the other side of the world. They always have other people in the mix. So from the first moment you met the narcissist, there were other people. Every step of that situation you were with them, there were other people. And when that relationship ends, there will be other people waiting for them. You can just guarantee it. And all of this is if it's possible. Barring the rare occasion where a narcissist, for whatever reason, may not be able to garner other supply, it's rare. Today it's rare. But some instance where that's not possible, maybe they're really sick and really unattractive and really down, and they just have nothing to offer anybody. Barring that, nah. There's always somebody else. They always have a backup and numerous backups if they can. They want to string along as many people as possible. You are never the only person in a narcissist's life. Never. The most laughable thing I hear people say who are supposed to know about this, they will actually say, the narcissist I was with didn't cheat on me. I've never been cheated on. I was with a narcissist. I've been with multiple narcissists, but I was never personally cheated on. Guys, do you realize the absurdity of that statement? You were never cheated on that you are aware of, that you caught them doing. But then, even when these people explain how they were never cheated on, when they go on to talk about the nature of the relationship and the stunts the narcissist pulled, it was very clear they were. There were other people involved. They were at least talking to other people and setting other things up at minimum, if not having physical relationships. It's not always physical, but it certainly is always something going on. Next, and it's definitely connected, the narcissist is going to monkey branch onto somebody else every single time. Is it any wonder why? And I've seen some really, I'm just going to be blunt, decrepit looking, nasty people who are narcissists, who immediately after their situation ended were with somebody else who's normally super low value, very, very much a person you would never want to do anything with. But they've got to have someone at all times. They always have to have somebody. And they will monkey branch no matter how much you thought that you had together, no matter how much they claim to love you, no matter how long it went on, no matter what. When that relationship ends, they will instantaneously be with somebody else. And don't think for one second that the relationship ended and then they went off and found somebody else very quickly. No, 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 no. They just monkey branched like a monkey swings through the jungle from branch to branch. They just went right from you to somebody else they already had in place. An ex or a new person, someone they've been grooming, it doesn't matter. The narcissist is not going to spend a fraction of a day, a fraction of an hour without having someone in their lives in some capacity. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So just understand that. They will monkey branch every single time, and you can't be surprised by this. This is one of the things most despicable about the narcissist. I hate cheating and I hate monkey branching because they're tied together. To monkey branch, you must be cheating. You must be setting things up behind your partner's back at minimum. That's cheating. Today, monkey branching is normalized. There's an entire gender today, I'm just going to tell you, where that happens virtually every single time, where I can count on one hand 5 or fewer times in my whole life when I saw a person from one particular gender break up with the person they're with or divorce and not immediately have somebody else there. It's it's just how it works, and it's highly, highly narcissistic. Yes, it's worse in a particular gender today without any doubt about it in my mind. So help me God, it's true. But it happens in both. The narcissist will always monkey branch. Monkey branching is popular today. It's popularized, it's condoned. It's just viewed as it's just what you do. You just don't end a situation without another one lined up. The narcissist never does. Life is a game to the narcissist. I talk about this a lot because it's one of the most important things, thus, one of the 10 things you must know. They view life as a never ending game. They don't think far ahead. They don't sit back and wonder how their life's going to turn out or what's going to happen down the road or what if I do this or that. They just want to play as many games with as many people as they possibly can. And they think their beauty is going to last and their ability to get supply is going to last. And everybody's just going to be there waiting for them. They can drop this person because that person's there and that person will have me and that person will have me. And I'll never be without. I'll never, ever be without. Again, the smartphone and the age of the internet has simplified that for people. This is why we're at the end. It's the last days. This is all part of it. So they view it as a game. How many people can I get over on? How many people can I have chasing after me? How many backups can I have in place? How many times can I set this person down and pick them back up? How many times can I triangulate? Can I send them a phantom text? Can I ghost them? They're just like immature prankster, demonically prankster children. That's what they are. Everything they do is some kind of game at all times, and they think this game goes on. So when you're dealing with anyone who plays any kind of games with you at all, they're not really in, they're not really out, they're here, they're there, they're gone. They're building something up, then they're gone. They're texting, they're sending you things to put you back, to set you on your heels. Any of these things is it's a narcissist you're dealing with in all likelihood, and you've got to get away because they're a gamester. They're playing games. That's what the narcissist does all the time. It's just this never-ending game that they're playing. Winding down, next to last thing here. The narcissist personality is fixed. It's baked into who they are. They are who they are, and that is not going to change. Put another way, the narcissist doesn't change. They're fixed, they're set, they're stuck, they're on this repetitious cycle that will never, ever, ever, ever end. They're playing this game that will never, ever, ever end in their minds. And they're not going to change that for any reason or anyone, 99.9% of the time. These people chose the path of darkness. They chose to go the wrong direction in life. And I'm going to get to that again in a second. From whatever point that someone truly becomes the full-blown narcissist, which I do think is a process, but there's also a point where they kind of just become reprobate. I've said consistently, I think that occurs somewhere between about 15 and 19 years of age. The mid to later teenage years is where that decision is truly solidified. From that point on, they are who they are. They're not going to change. You're not going to change them. You're not going to hang around long enough. You're not going to show them the light. You're not going to pray them through this. You're not going to just give them enough time. You're not going to get back what you invested. The sunk cost fallacy is real. They're fixed, they're stuck, they're trapped in being a perpetual child, a immature, demonic, perpetual little child who plays games. That's who you're dealing with. And you're not going to get somebody like that to just snap out of it. I know that's a hard reality. I hate it too because I have dealt with people that I cared a lot about that are just that way. And to have to come to terms with the fact that they are simply stuck and trapped with who they are is so difficult. But it's true. Their personality is fixed and they won't change. Last one here. And this is the most obvious, but it is the most essential thing to understand. We live in a world where everybody has a mental disorder. Everybody has a personality disorder. Everything is excused away by trauma or genetics or their upbringing, environment. And don't get me wrong, those things do have an effect. They do matter. There is a genetic component to the way people turn out. There is an environmental component. Trauma does matter. These things do help to shape who a person is, but they do not define who a person is. Everyone makes their own decisions. There are people who grew up in horrible situations to terrible parents with probably bad genetics and everything else, and they decided they were going to do everything but become their parents. They set out to be a different person, to have a family that's different, to raise their kids differently, to be a completely different person than what they grew up with. And there are people who grew up in really good situations with good homes and good parenting and everything there before them, and they blew it and became a filthy narcissist. And everything in between, all shades of gray. Yes, genetics matter, environment matters, trauma matters, parenting matters, it all does. But what matters most is what a person chooses to do with their life situation. The narcissist chose the path of darkness. They chose to go that direction. They chose to manipulate, to triangulate, to steal, to cheat, to lie, to take the easiest way out, to choose themselves, to act out of selfishness. This is exactly why the narcissist is who they are. They chose the path. Narcissism is a spiritual disorder. And who a person is spiritually manifests in their character, their personality, their mental makeup. Everything flows from the spiritual heart, the spiritual aspect of a person. Who they are in the deepest spiritual levels determines everything about who they are. The narcissist is spiritually corrupt. They're the weeds among the wheat. They are children of the devil. And it's sad, but it's just the truth. And that's why you have to stay away from these people. That's why Scripture commands, 2 Timothy 3:5, avoid such a person, avoid such people. So guys, these are, to me, the 10 things you must know about the narcissist. And I think they're all incredibly important. And all true narcissists will exhibit every single thing that I just said. If they're a true narcissist and you're dealing with one or did deal with one, they will exhibit every single thing I just said. And I will go so far as to tell you, if the person you dealt with or deal with does not exhibit even one of those things, they're not a narcissist. They might be a bad person. They might be a crummy person. They might be a jerk. They might have a lot of problems. But if they don't exhibit all of those things, they're not a narcissist, because those things are just part and parcel to who the narcissist is. They're just tied to them. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this take. Come at you with another one soon. Drop comments below. What did I miss? Where was I right? What did I leave out? What do you think is the most essential thing about the narcissist? So, hey, guys, I appreciate your time. Come at you with another one soon. And until then, God bless.